I arranged to meet one of Jackson's few true insiders, a friend of his for 20 years, who'd been trying to get him in shape for the O2 concert since March, 3 months before his death. This is where Jackson prepared for his comeback, in suburban Los Angeles, in a gym in Lou Ferrigno's back garden.
And this is a valuable tool for a lot of people.
Okay.
So it's very simple because basically...
So what would you do with that then, Lou?
Well, for example, I could just lay on it myself.
Yeah.
Like if you're laying here.
Okay.
And you know, you're doing sit-up and crunchies because...
These are the exercises that Lou gave Jackson, rolling on a ball.
It's very simple. If you wanted to move them like this,
and lifting a big rubber band. Not the sort of things you'd imagine would get Jackson in shape for 50 concerts at the O2 Arena.
Yeah. So those are that's very straightforward for him and not too much. Because one of these, which was the one that was...
He didn't want to do these.
This was too heavy for him?
Yes.
Wow. Well, I must say that even I could manage that.
No, but 20 years ago he used it, but it's light, but he just loved being here.
And then towards the end, you trained him again.
Yes, I had to train him at his house. Because of the fact he had his kids and the paparazzis. I went to his house.
This is where Jackson prepared for his comeback, in suburban Los Angeles, in a gym in Lou Ferrigno's back garden.
Yes, I had to train him at his house. But he just loved being here, yes, I had to train him at his house.
In a gym in Lou Ferrigno's back garden.
Yes, I had to train him at his house.
Well, that's the impression I get, Lou. To be honest, to me, it seems as though he really liked your company and that he really liked being here. And that somehow the workout, he could have done the workout, that kind of workout himself, couldn't he? But maybe he just wanted to hang out with you.
It's like that too. It's the motivation, and because in here it's very safe.
Yeah.
There's no cameras, there's no people taking pictures, just him and I felt safe. Yes, I had to train him at his house. Because of the fact he had his kids and the paparazzis. I went to his house.
Meeting Lou, it seemed to me that Jackson was there to confide in him, not really to train at all. Was it because he was anxious about the upcoming shows and had no one else to talk to?
He was a huge fan of the Hulk because it's about power. He had that power through music. I had that power through the Hulk because every one of us is a little Hulk inside of us. Michael felt like the little Hulk. He told me because of all the pain and anger.
You were like the mirror of him. You were like in the mirror.
Yep.
When he was organising for this tour, did he talk about the tour at all and what he felt about how it was going to be? And
oh, he was excited because I asked him about the tour. He said he was not nervous. I said, "You nervous?" And I could see that he was like anxious to train, but he has so much pressure, and the stress was humongous on him.
With the concerts just 3 months away, Jackson was sitting in Lou's bungalow, wondering whether he'd be able to cope. Meeting Lou, it seemed to me that Jackson was there to confide in him, not really to train at all. Was it because he was anxious about the upcoming shows and had no one else to talk to?
You're also a deputy sheriff. You became that 4 years ago. Why?
Because my father was a police lieutenant for the New York Police Department. I was always fascinated with law enforcement. So I ran into the sheriff. He said, "Why don't you join the department?" I said, okay. I went through the classes for 6 months, did all the shooting, the driving, and become a certified police officer because I like helping California. I like protecting life and property and helping people. So it was another passion of mine, something I've always wanted to do.
But how surprised are people when they get rescued by Lou Ferrigno?
Well, one time there was a woman, apparently she had to got to an accident. And we had to put her in a helicopter on the special, weave the bed. So we're flying away, and she looked at me, and then she said to me, "Can I have your autograph?" And we're taking off with the helicopter. Her leg is bleeding and everything. She's just laying there. She goes, "Oh, my God, I can't believe the Incredible Hulk saved me." and we were flying with the helicopter. It was great. I was very touched by it.
a 2008 photograph of Michael Jackson in a wheelchair, looking very, very frail and ill, which a lot of people have made a lot of, particularly when he died. You say in the book that was his sense of humour. He was fooling people. He was trying to make them think he was frail.
I'll tell you, if you look at that photograph very well, look at his posture. He's sitting up. A person who's frail is like this in the wheelchair. This was one of Michael's stunts because he knew that the public was so saying that he had problems with lungs and this and that, and he wasn't healthy. He was dancing 4 hours a day. That was his way of manipulating the press. Michael was the master of manipulation, especially the press, because he knew they were on to him, and also he was the ultimate showman. But when you look at this picture clearly, you will see that he's sitting up. He's not slouched.
Even before that 2008 photograph, you're clear in the book that he had a series of addictions, didn't he? To painkillers.
Yeah, to painkillers, yes. Yes.
Are the ones we know about. But
That was painkillers.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he had a history of addiction.
No, not addiction. That was painkiller. That was in, 2002, that time. But that's not what killed Michael Jackson.
No, we're going to get to that. But I'm talking about it in the past, though.
Yes. But
he had health problems over a number of decades.
Not health problems, no. Not health problems.
But addiction is a health problem, isn't it?
Well, it's because of pain and not being able to sleep. But his heart during his last days was fine. His heart was fine then.
And yet something happens, and you're clear about this in the book, whereas a lot of people have written about his death and the decline before that, they say it as a long, long decline, that he'd been getting frail and ill for years and perhaps was ill. You say in the book it happened very, very quickly. You say he was fit and well. You say in the book it happened very, very quickly. You say he was fit and well and thin but healthy, and then suddenly in those last few weeks something happened.
Yes.
Well, do you want to tell us what you think did happen?
Well, I feel that from knowing all of my brother's tours and knowing his preparation for his tours, and even with him being excited about just creating, there were never symptoms of Michael being very cold on one side of his body and very hot on the other side. There were never symptoms of Michael repeating himself.
These are all reports of things during the final weeks of rehearsals.
These are reports. These are things that you didn't see, and this is it. So what I've done in the book is...
This is it again, to explain to people who haven't seen it. It's the movie that was put together from the rehearsal footage after... This is
what we had eyes and ears until the rehearsals, and we can't say who, but this is what they didn't see. And so this behavior came from propofol.
This is the hospital strength anesthetic, which you discovered after his death, and it's there in the autopsy.
Hospital
strength, yeah. It should only be used in hospitals.
Exactly.
But you discovered afterwards, it's in the autopsy report, that he was being given it at home.
He was given this over a period of time. They're trying to say it was just one dose that killed him one night. No, this was administered in him. He trusted the doctors. It was not an anesthesiologist. The doctor was Murray, who was a cardiologist. We don't know if he acted alone because the surveillance tapes were erased from the LAPD. And all this stuff brings questions to us as a family, because the big question I have, why weren't they concerned about the person? This is neglect.
But on that point, because you're very clear in the book about how close you were as a family, particularly you and your mother, how much you felt about him. And yet you're also saying that all this was going on, that he was being given hospital-strength anesthetics at night, and you as a family knew nothing about any of that.
They kept us away. We know the drummer knows our numbers. We know there are people that were around him that were very personal to us and knew us. No one called us to say, come down here. Your brother's not acting normal. Something's going on.
You talk about being kept away from him. There are a number of times in the book where you go to try and see your brother, and either his Nation of Islam bodyguards or other people around him, they send you away. They actually send away his own family members. But how did it get to that, though?
It got to that because they all have hidden agendas. I put the nation there. I put them there because he couldn't trust the security that he had. But I never thought that I would be kept away.
Do you feel that you as a family could and should have done more?
That's a good question. You know why? Because doing more would have been just storming through security and fighting and physically busting through doors and say, no, we're here to get him. We're here to be with him because we don't know what you're doing, what your plan is. We felt we did as much as we could do. We knew that they didn't want us around. We knew after the Thriller albums and this and that, they wanted to become his brothers, his sister, his mother, his father. And it got to a point where they didn't really care about him the way we did. I feel they just neglected him and they let him die.
I do have something else that came up when we talked on Sunday.
Sure.
About a phone call that came to your office during the emergency when Michael Jackson was taken to the hospital by one of Michael Jackson's people.
Yes. Frank DeLeo called the office.